6:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Lal Malavarachi and read by J. Yogaraj. First, the headlines. The President calls a Russian counterpart and seeks credit support to import fuel. Railways trade unions decide to call off union action. Special fuel coupons to be issued for those engaged in tourism industry. Health officials warns of COVID-19 re-emergence. The Premier says the current shortage of gas will be resolved by the end of July. News overseas. UK PM Johnson sacks a minister after cabinet ministers pile pressure on him. In sports, Pakistan cricket team arrived in the island. And those are the headlines. President Rajapakse sought an offer of credit support from Russian President Vladimir Putin to import fuel to Sri Lanka to ride out the current economic challenges. Taking to his official Twitter account, the head of the state said he had a very productive telephone conversation with his Russian counterpart yesterday. The two leaders have unanimously agreed that strengthening bilateral relations in sectors such as tourism, trade and culture is paramount in reinforcing the friendship between the two nations. During their conversation, President Rajapakse has appealed to President Putin to resume Russian airline Aeroflot's flight operations to Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka Railways trade unions have decided to call off their trade union action after discussions with the Minister of Transport yesterday. Transport Minister Bandula Gunawardena and Railway trade union representatives held a discussion at the Ministry of Highways. After directing his attention to the issues faced by the railway employees, the Transport Minister instructed the Secretary to the Ministry and General Manager of Sri Lanka Railways to provide immediate solutions for those issues. Sri Lanka's railway employees have also complained that they are in dire straits due to aggressive behavior of certain commuters. The Ministry of Tourism has implemented a new program to promote the tourism industry amid the fuel crisis with the support of the Sri Lanka Transport Board and the Sri Lanka Army. According to Tourism and Lands Minister Harin Fernando, the drivers registered with the Ministry of Tourism will be given the required fuel after calling the given hotline numbers and giving their itinerary. It is also possible to get the coupon they want by visiting the office of the Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority and giving the relevant information. Fuel will not be issued by providing only one's tourism ID. And there is an increase of 8.8% in the arrival of tourists this month compared to last month. This news comes to you from Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The Director General of Health Services, Dr. Asela Gunawardena, says the threat of COVID-19 is not completely eliminated yet, and there is a risk of a re-emergence of the virus with the new variants. At a recent press conference, Dr. Gunawardena pointed out that it is essential to receive all 4 doses of COVID-19 vaccines. Earlier, we made a kind of request to take the booster or the 3rd dose after completing the primary vaccination, and the public are urged that those who obtain the booster dose to get the 4th dose administered. At present, 97% of the people over the age of 20 have successfully completed the primary vaccination. However, only 7.9 million individuals have obtained the first booster dose, the Health Services Chief explained further. And that's local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatma.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe says that since 33,000 metric tons of gas is to be received from July 11 to the first week of August, the current shortage of gas will be resolved by the end of July or the first week of August. The Prime Minister also said that from the 11th of July, 112,000 gas cylinders will be continuously distributed daily throughout the country. Wickremesinghe also said that it is planned to distribute gas at 140 locations in Colombo on July 11 and 12. And accordingly, 140,000 cylinders are expected to be distributed during the 2 days. He added that each of the 140 locations would be supplied 100 into 12 kilograms cylinders. The Prime Minister said that 25,000 cylinders of 12 kilograms each, which is the daily requirement of the Colombo city, will be released, and a release of gas for bakeries and small-scale businesses will also be done simultaneously. And that was top news.
The main news story was brought to you by Sidhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Moving on to watch slide, the dengue fever is on the rise due to the onset of the monsoon rains. A most number of dengue patients have been detected in the western province. The Colombo and Dampa districts have shown many patients identified in the recent past. The health authorities request the residents of Colombo and suburb to keep their home front cleaned. Schools in the western province are also advised to keep their premises clean. The health authorities expect to make inspection visits to these sites in the near future. And that was Watchlight. Moving on to world news, UK Prime Minister Johnson sacks a minister after cabinet ministers pile pressure on him. Nigeria prison break, more than 400 missing from Abuja jail. Rocco Morobito, Fiji mobster handed over to Italy. And those are the headlines of the world news. UK Prime Minister Johnson sacks a minister after cabinet ministers pile pressure on him. The PM has fired Housing and Community Secretary Michael Gove, who earlier called for him to resign. It comes after a group of cabinet ministers, Home Secretary Preeti Patel among them, visited the PM to tell him to quit. Secretary of the State of Wales Simon Hart was also said to be in that delegation and has now become the third cabinet minister to resign. More than 400 prisoners are missing following a raid on a prison in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Officials say 4 inmates, a security guard and several attackers were killed after the prison was targeted last Tuesday night, according to officials. Islamic militants are suspected of carrying out the attack, and dozens of jihadists are thought to be on the run. More than 5,000 inmates have escaped during prison breaks in Nigeria since 2020. One of Italy's most wanted men, mobster Rocco Morobito, has arrived in Rome after being extradited from Brazil, where he had been in hiding. Known as the Cocaine King of Milan, Morobito was arrested in May last year in a joint operation by Brazilian and Italian police. The 55-year-old will serve a 30-year prison sentence for drug trafficking. And that's world news. In development news, a Japanese company is investing $25 million to build an airport transit hotel in Katunayake. This 3-star hotel, which would be directly managed by a Japanese hotel brand, will consist of 180 rooms and the construction is in its mid stages. And that was development news.
Sports news is brought to you by
Sampath Bank, we present your future.
Pakistan cricket team arrived in the island yesterday for a tour. The first encounter, Sri Lankan board President's 11 versus Pakistan. A 3-day warm-up match will commence from 11th of July. The first test match will be played from 16th July at the Galle International Stadium. And that was sports news.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The globally globally respected UK magazine, The Banker, has once again included the Commercial Bank of Ceylon in its prestigious top 1,000 world banks ranking, making Commercial Bank the only Sri Lankan bank to be ranked among the elite global giants in banking for 12 consecutive years. This ranking of the global who's who of banking is based primarily on tier capital, a principal indicator to measure a bank's financial health. And that was business news.
Business News, sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Economic news, courtesy of
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Sri Lanka will issue regulations for casinos under a 2010 law and also will amend related legislative act on betting, a government statement said. The casino regulation law was passed in 2010, requiring a gaming establishment to be issued licenses. The required regulations had been issued so far. The regulations will make it easier to collect taxes. The Cabinet has approved the issue of regulations under 2010 Casino Business Regulation Law. And that was economic news.
LOLC Finance is taking the power of innovation to the next level, winning 5 golds at the Technovation Awards 2022, leading the digital revolution with cutting-edge interbanking digital payments. LOLC Finance claims the overall gold award, whilst also claiming an extraordinary victory in digital banking. LOLC Finance will continue to innovate with the next generation digitalization of financial services, delivering a superior customer experience.
Finally, in the weather report, the Met Department says showers will occur at times in Sabarkama province and in Nuwara and Kandy districts. Several spells of showers will occur in western and northwestern provinces and in Galle and Mathura districts. And that was weather report. And to wind up the news broadcast, let's look at the main points once again. The President calls Russian counterpart and seeks credit support to import fuel. Railways trade unions decide to call off union action. Special fuel coupons to be issued for those engaged in tourism industry. Health Services Chief warns of COVID-19 re-emergence. The Premier says the current shortage of gas will be resolved by the end of July. And with that, we conclude this morning news broadcast of Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.